CBS Sports presents the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. For the third Saturday in a row, we're on a mile racetrack today. Nazareth Speedway in Nazareth, Pennsylvania plays host to these trucks. It's the Nazareth 200. And as you look at those heavy hanging skies, the threat of rain's in the air so quickly, let's go right to the starting lineup. Joe Ruttman has his 6th pole of the year, and Terry Cook, the 98 Flemington winner, on the front row. A new crew chief for Rick Corelli. He starts 3rd, and point leader Greg Biffle in row 2. Rick Crawford has his best start of the season, and rookie Scott Riggs in row 3. Steve Grissom, former Busch champ, and Marty Houston, who led here last year in the 4th row. 2-time series champ Jack Sprague with Lance Norrick in row 5. Jimmy Hensley, who's won a Busch race here, and Randy Tolsma, 3rd last week in row 6. Mike Wallace, 2nd in the point standings, and Andy Houston, a 2-time winner this year in the 7th row. Rookie Kurt Busch going for his 3rd win in a row, back there with Carlos Contreras, the Mexican driver. In row 9, Brian Reffner makes his 105th career start, and Tom Carey from the Busch North Series. In row 10, Dennis Setzer, who crashed hard last week, and Randy McDonald, the Canadian. Michael Doggin finished 5th here in 1997, and Ryan McGlynn in his home state race. Rookie Coy Gibbs makes his 7th career start, and Rob Morgan from out of sports car racing. David Starr, who led at Kentucky, and rookie Donnie Morlock, who comes out of motocross competition. Wayne Edwards, the Salem, Indiana late model champion, and Jeff McClure, ARCA veteran. Tom Boston, the road racer from Texas, and Phil Bonifield makes his 6th start of the year. McGee Miller, the local driver, in his 2nd Nazareth appearance, modified racer, anchors the field.
Manufacturer's breakdown.
Well, we got one of each in the first 3 spots, buddy.
13 Chevrolets, 10 Dodges, and 8 Fords. And Ford leads right now with 8 victories, Chevrolet with 5, Dodge with 2.
Coming around for the green this time, starting field 31 drivers. They go 200 miles for a purse of almost $500,000. Fuel into 70 to 75 laps. Race record was set back in 1999 by Greg Biffle.
So welcome to our CBS Sports coverage. I'm Mike Joy with Buddy Baker. Happy birthday, Buddy. And Ned Jarrett as we get set to go green here at Nazareth. 200 miles of racing, and we'll be racing against the rain here. It's on the way. So let's get to it. Joe Ruttman, the leader. Here comes Corelli in 66 for 2nd.
Very unique racetrack, the Nazareth Speedway. You have to count the turns, and different people have different counts on it. We counted 5.
Okay, they're coming up toward the start-finishing line, now into the first corner that I call a corner. Anytime you turn hard left, that's a corner. They go down the short chute, under the bridge there, down into a sweeping corner towards the back straightaway.
And the back straightaway is downhill. That's what I call turn 3 there at the top of the hill. A long downhill 1,200-foot pull. And Jack Sprague makes the move inside Steve Grissom, and Sprague is going to move up into 6th place as they come around turns 4 and, if you will, turn 5 and back to the start-finish stripe.
Yeah, in this corner yesterday, Joe Ruttman sat on the pole. He ran wide open through that corner.
Jimmy Hensley, 16 for 7th place, taking it away from Steve Grissom, who's backing up a bit.
Steve Grissom on the outside groove, and that is not the place to be on this racetrack, especially in the early going. Here comes Mike Wallace in the truck number 2 down on the inside. He'll take the position. Now Grissom gets back down.
Grissom had his best start of the year here, 7th. He qualified 10th at Daytona, his previous best.
Scott Riggs in the 86, just behind those guys there. He just gave room there.
Oh, trouble. Turn 1, Randy Tolsma is hard in the wall. Can everybody miss him? Yes. Spotter station just below us. You hear them talking to their drivers, moving them down the racetrack. And Tolsma's truck is used up.
Wow, they got a lot of work on that one to get it back on the track.
What a heartbreaker for the Idaho driver who told us yesterday that growing up in a part of the area where stock car racing is not common, his heroes were his dad and the other drivers at the local short track Meridian Speedway.
Yes, and everybody knows that he was quite a star in the open wheel cars.
Our Citgo SuperGuard onboard camera. This view of Randy Tolsma. You see a bit of smoke building in the cockpit there, and there you see why, the tire rub there on the rear.
He has been so close to victory so many times this year, and he knew it was just a matter of time until he would get into victory lane. Don't think it'll be today.
I couldn't tell, Ned, if he got turned around, but let's have a look at some replay angles to see what happened to Randy Tolsma.
There's Randy Tolsma right there. He goes in. Kind of loses the back of the truck just getting in the corner there, but he was touched a little bit by Kurt Busch, maybe.
Well, and maybe the left front wheels might have gotten up on the riffle strips there in that corner and maybe upset the weight just a little bit, shifted a little.
We'll have another look. I'm not sure if he was right down on the rumble strips. Let's have another look. Oh, already gone up there.
He did that all by himself. Kurt Busch did not get in the back of the truck at all. He got up on the rumble strips, just like you said, with the left front. That kicked the back out.
Let's show you from Randy's view.
On the inside of Marty Houston in truck number 75. I think when his left wheels hit that rumble strip, that it just simply shifted the weight and made the back end go around him.
And the reason he went down there was Marty Houston on the outside there. He was trying to keep away from him and run up on the rumble strips.
Now, they have changed these rumble strips down into the corner from when we were here last year. Last year, that was smooth concrete and it was painted. But right now, it's kind of a sawtooth configuration. So each time you go up and over one of those, it will upset it. Not sure exactly if Randy got down onto those rumble strips or not, but the truck is around and in the wall, and now it is on pit road. We've never had less than 7 cautions in this race, and we're under the first one right now as you watch our Granger onboard camera with Greg Biffle. We've got 5 CBS race cams for you today, including Tolsma and Biffle, the point leader. Looking ahead at Terry Cook. And there's the damage to the Dodge of Randy Tolsma.
Backhand got into the wall there pretty good. Here's Mike Wallace.
That's our Team ASE cam on board the Jim Smith Ultra Motorsports number 2. We're going green with Joe Ruttman in the lead and Rick Corelli in second. Terry Cook his third.
Ruttman had been able to open up about a 15 truck length lead before that caution and trying to open up the lead again as they go single file through this one.
We mentioned Rick Corelli, number 66, has a new crew chief. It is John Munsum, formerly with the 48 team in the Busch Grand National Series. And here off the pace is Jeff McClure. Coming to pit road. As the leaders complete 7 laps. Ruttman, Corelli, Cook, and then Greg Biffle.
Riding with Greg Biffle as he heads down the back straightaway there. He's very patient now. A long time ago, he would make moves at the first part of the race that everybody questioned, but Greg Biffle understands how to win now, and he has really turned up the what you have to do to win in this truck division. He's learned how.
Let's go to the garage area where Dick Berggren is with Randy Tolsma.
In the last 2 races, Tolsma has been second and third, but not today. His crew chief, Gary Showalter, has just said the rear end is being pushed by the frame. What happened out there?
No, you know, one groove racetrack. I got under Marty, and he gave me plenty of room. Had no truck had been tight for the first few laps, so felt more than comfortable going underneath. And truck just came around. And I have no idea, no reason why. Just complete driver error, I guess. You know, trying to be a little bit patient, but you know, in truck racing, you can't afford to be too patient. You know, the races aren't long enough, and didn't think I'd put myself in a position to harm us, but you know, too bad for Citgo and SuperGuard Motor Oil and, of course, Dodge. We had a good enough truck to compete for a win, and once again, how much you can say when the driver makes a mistake.
Go get him next week. Mike?
Tolsma 6th in the point standings coming into Nazareth and the first truck out of the race. 10 laps complete. Joe Ruttman has opened up quite a lead on Rick Corelli. Terry Cook was being challenged by Greg Biffle at turn 2, but fought him off. Rick Crawford, who had his best start of the season, has a top 5 run going here in 5th ahead of Jack Sprague, Steve Grissom, and Mike Wallace.
Yeah, they're kind of going nose to tail right now. Nobody really racing that hard because first, what they have to do is get the tire pressures up in the trucks where they work right, and then you start figuring the racetrack out itself. So right now, they're kind of figuring and talking with the crew chiefs when they do make stops. If the trucks are not doing what they want to, they'll know how to adjust them.
They know that they'll have to make at least 2 pit stops during this race for fuel. These trucks only get about 70 to 75 laps on the tank of fuel. Since it's a 200-lap race, they'll have to stop at least twice, so they'll have time for those adjustments.
A lot of the teams, Ned, though, talking about tire wear being more of a concern than fuel mileage. Some of the crew chiefs I spoke to said they would like to stop twice for right side. Trouble in turn 1. Coy Gibbs is around at the exit of the first corner. Spins it, catches a gear, and gets going.
No caution so far. If you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. He just went round and round and just went right back into the full song here down the back straightaway. You can see he's back full throttle.
Stayed on the lead lap. Keeps going.
Yep. I was saying some teams wanted to make 2 stops for right side tires and 1 stop for lefts, but it all depends on how the caution flags play out. 13 laps are complete here in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. 2 from Allentown, who spun at turn 1 while being overlapped by the leaders and spun it and kept going.
And Mikey went around on the racetrack and then got on the return road where you come out of the pits, never backed off, and you see him going down the back straightaway.
Let's have another look. That white truck is Miller's.
You see the back just turn out on him there. He gets in the throttle right there. You see him smoking the tires, goes on the return pit road there, straightens it up, continues right on.
A modified series veteran. Here's what Greg Biffle saw. There's the white truck going just in front of him. So Miller back in the race.
And he didn't stay on the racetrack long enough to flat spot his tires. He went right out across the grass and went on.
19 laps, only 1 caution. That for Randy Tolsma, who is out of the race, as is Phil Bonnefeld. And the number 9, Tom Boston from Texas, has spent a long time on pit road repairing right front damage.
And David Starr has been in as well. As a matter of fact, when he was going out of the pits, he went too fast. 35 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit today. He went too fast and had to come back in again.
Right. Here's the 2nd place truck of Rick Corelli, the Dale Phelan machine. Chasing this man, Joe Ruttman. Ruttman, a 2.2-second lead on Corelli.
Well, he is proving that that track record he set in qualifying was no fluke.
55 years old, and I raced against him many years ago, and I can tell you he's always been competitive in anything he set down in.
They asked him about his pole-winning run, and he said, well, when you get old, your eyesight's not so good. You don't get scared as fast because you don't see as much. He is the punster and prankster of this garage area. He is the race leader.
A lot of fun to be around. Great race driver.
Works past Wayne Edwards in the 93. Trouble in turn 5. And it's McGee Miller again. This time he has found the concrete.
And the caution is out now.
Keep your speed up. It's nothing to your toe. When you get down in the middle, 3 or 4.
Second caution comes out at lap 22. The last time a Dodge won, and leader Joe Ruttman and pole sitter is in a Dodge, was back at Martinsville when Ruttman's teammate, car owner, Winston Cup competitor, and today Ruttman's backup spotter, Bobby Hamilton, was the race winner.
Miller gets his truck going again now, but caution is out.
It won't be out very long because he didn't leave anything on the racetrack to clean up.
Tom Boston has been in and out the pits several times. Now they put the hood back down on the number 9 truck. He'll go back out into the action, but he is several laps down now.
There's Bobby, just below our commentary booth. Bobby Hamilton on the horn with Joe Ruttman and the rest of that number 18 Dana team. So 23 laps are complete. Second caution of the day as we chase the rain here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. We'll be right back. And pole sitter, in the last 5 races, Ruttman has only managed a 12th place finish as his best. So he's looking to get back on track here at Nazareth.
Finally, he didn't get a truck length lead on the restart there. Rick Corelli stayed right with him, but he's opening it up down the back straightaway. Steve Grissom now makes a look on the inside there. Couldn't do anything with it, fell back in line.
Steve had fallen back a number of positions at the beginning of the race, but now he's picked back up to that sixth place. He started seventh, and now he's running in sixth.
For more on leader Joe Ruttman, here's Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Mike, he is running the exact same truck that his truck owner Bobby Hamilton ran last week at New Hampshire International. So he is expecting this truck to be very fast. As you remember, Bobby led a tremendous amount of laps last week at New Hampshire. And right now, the only thing Joe is saying is that he's going very easy on the brakes because he plans on running even harder later on, which could be a bad sign for the rest of the competition.
There's Ruttman's lead over Rick Corelli. It's just about 1 second. Terry Cook in third. Greg Biffle, the point leader, fourth. Fifth is Rick Crawford. And sixth, Steve Grissom. There's Crawford's number 14. And here's Grissom and Jack Sprague moving in the 24.
Sprague in the blue and white, number 24. He's the current NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion.
Looking back from Greg Biffle at Rick Crawford. Marty Houston there, 75, and here's Dennis Setzer chasing Jimmy Hensley. Setzer in a hard crash early in last week's New Hampshire International Speedway race, suffered a broken scapula or shoulder blade, but he's strapped in, ready to go, and he's coming to the front.
Moving up, he just took over 12th position there from Jimmy Hensley. He started 19th, so Dennis Setzer has picked off a lot of trucks here so far.
His truck owner, Bob Keselowski, is standing by in relief if needed.
About 8,700 right there. Some of the trucks are turning as much as 9,000 down the straightaway. Joe Ruttman is, because I talked to Bobby Hamilton. He said they had a chip in there, so it wouldn't go any more than that. It cuts the ignition off at 9,100.
This is a very difficult track to gear forward to keep those RPMs fairly constant because of the long straightaway down the backstretch and then the short chutes where you need the low gearing to pull you off of those corners. And so it's a compromise.
Very difficult track to set up for. Ralph, how's Dennis Setzer today?
Well, Mike, he's very sore in that shoulder blade area that you were talking about on his right side. Now, the team spent a lot of time this morning working on the seat, trying to make Dennis as comfortable in the truck as they could. Now, he said the only thing he really can't do is put the truck in reverse. Pushing down on the gear lever to get it over there is the hardest thing for him. So as long as he doesn't have to back up, he'll be okay going forward today.
He's not backing up. He's moving on. McGee Miller has taken his truck to the garage area where he joins David Starr, Phil Bonnefeld, and Randy Tolzman. Now the sun is poking through here in Nazareth, and that is a very unexpected sight from the forecast we had this morning. Turn one.
Another spin.
Several trucks involved in this one.
Now that's Riggs, Scott Riggs, and Marty Houston.
That's Marty Houston right there. Scott Riggs in the 86 truck.
Boy, tough break for Riggs since taking over the driver's seat in that number 86 in Memphis. He's brought them 5 top 10 finishes. And there he is trying to get restarted. He made contact with the inside wall.
Amazing. Everybody's back underway, though. They'll probably come right straight in, though, and make a pit stop and pull some of that metal off of the tires.
I believe Riggs went a lap down, but Marty Houston was able to get his truck going and moved around without going a lap down.
Marty Houston's showing a lot of smoke out of the back of his truck, but he did not come into pit road yet.
I think he wants to catch up the field, Buddy. Yeah. Catch up the caution truck and the rest of the field so he can make a pit stop without losing a lap. A lot of smoke, too, from the left front.
Yeah.
Scott Riggs, number 86.
What you hope you don't do there is blow a tire out and knock the inner panels out of the truck. Then it's so hot in the compartment where you drive from, you can barely stand it.
Third caution of the day. Let's have a look at what happened. There's Riggs 86. Oops.
He just went in there behind Mike Wallace and lost the back, and then Houston had nowhere to go. And I tell you one thing, Busch really did a great job in a 99 truck missing those guys.
Here's what Dennis Setzer saw of that from our Mopar Performance Cam.
Right in front of him. He has to get on the brakes very quickly here, too. Say, which side do I go on? Because it gets dark there all of a sudden. He made the right decision, went on the outside, and went away unharmed. And now, most of the drivers are on pit road.
Very early, 34 laps into the race. Dick Berggren.
Now, Mike Wallace is the first of those out, Mike. He changed the track bar. Whoa, a near collision on pit road. Changed the track bar to try to make it handle better. We're listening to Kurt Busch's radio. Busch has won the last 2 races on this series. He said he picked the wrong gear. That's something they can't fix. Ralph?
One of the most high-tech pieces of equipment being used down here right now is an aluminum baseball bat as they try to pull the sheet metal away from the left front, having trouble getting it off. That's why they use those baseball bats to try to pound that sheet metal away. And now they pull the truck right down off the jack stand. So things going from bad to worse for Marty Houston. It's missing the left front tire, and it is falling right off the jack stands. They got the left rear on already. Now they get the jack back up under there, and they're searching for the right front tire to get on. Or no, actually it's the left front. They're trying to put the right front tire on. Boy, this thing is really going bad over here, gentlemen. They can't even fit the tire in. The sheet metal has been all over the place. The tire that they're trying to get on is actually marked for a right front tire. And they are really, really struggling here, Mike. If they're not careful, they're going to pull it back down off the jack again.
Well, they have gone a lap down.
So now they can take their time. Let's show you what Dick Berggren spoke of, that near collision. That's number 50, Greg Biffle, and here's Mike Wallace.
And it gets a little narrow there as they come out. Didn't see each other for just a moment. Biffle won the race.
This is the better angle that they start out. They just about make contact there, but Wallace got an eyeful and just turned hard right, and they missed.
35 laps complete here at Nazareth, and already 3 cautions. CBS Sports coverage continues after this word and a message from your local station.
Da-da-da-dum.
Hanged up on race leader Joe Ruttman. Now he was a lap down, so he started alongside Ruttman, powered ahead of him to get back on the tail end of the lead lap, and now Ruttman puts him a lap down.
Ruttman's truck is so very, very good in the corners. I mean, he just drove up under poor Marty and just rode right by him coming off the corner.
Kurt Busch passed by Jimmy Hensley. That's for 16th position, and here's 66, Rick Corelli from Denver, trying to get around Houston so he can get up and have a shot there at Joe Ruttman.
They had a little contact there coming out of the corner. You can see that Corelli is not waiting on anyone. This is as good as he's run in quite a while. He told me the truck was good, and he can't wait.
Now, before we went to break, we saw a lot of trucks in the pits and coming out of the pits. The first 11 drivers did not make pit stops during that last caution. So we're going to have a situation here of some trucks out there on older tires while others got new.
Ned, the final corner, Coy Gibbs is hard into the concrete.
I mean hard. There's a lot of damage to that truck. That's the whole part of the tailgate there hanging off on the left-hand side, and that's due to the right side being knocked over that far.
Gibbs spun earlier but did no damage. This time he was not as fortunate. Former college football player, trying to make his living behind the wheel now.
He's an outstanding athlete. Son of Joe Gibbs, outstanding football coach.
I guess for the Redskins, everybody remembers when they were so very powerful.
Pretty outstanding Winston Cup team owner, too.
You're right.
With Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart.
He's a couple of the best teams in the business. Now we catch the tail end of it here. He was already up in the high groove and against the wall.
And let's show you Mike Wallace's view.
See the back just go out on Gibbs' truck, and he goes straight up into the wall.
Buddy, is this a consequence of loose being fast and setting the truck up too loose?
Well, you can see the track bar and everything on that truck. They're going back in the garage area. Yes, it is, Mike. What happened there is he goes in the corner, applies the brakes. That makes the back end very light. As you're trying to turn left, the back starts to skip out, and that takes it right on around. That's what it was. It was too loose.
It's a fine balance driving these trucks, keeping them under control or losing them into the fence. Our Menard onboard camera, that's Brian Reffner, as some of the leaders are electing to pit, including the front 3 of the front 4.
Well, I think maybe those 11 that didn't pit during the last caution, Mike, are coming in.
That's Joe Ruttman, the first truck in, Rick Corelli, Terry Cook, Rick Crawford, Steve Grissom, and those are the first 4 of the first 5 running trucks. Crawford stays out. He will inherit the lead. Let's go to Rick Corelli's pit and Dick Berggren.
Rick Corelli today is racing with a brand new crew chief. John Munson just came on board, and they are having one of the best runs that they have had in a long, long while. Corelli seriously injured in a crash last year at Pikes Peak, making a recovery. This team having one of the best runs it has ever had. Terrell Shaheen.
Joe Ruttman just took right side tires. They wanted to take a look at the right side tires and see how they are holding up right now. They feel like the left side tires on this truck can go the entire distance if they really need them to.
One truck has stopped on the back straightaway. That's Marty Houston, trying to work his way back to the pits as we are under caution for the 4th time today. And the lead changes to Rick Crawford. We'll be right back.
The problem was that once he got all done with his service, he couldn't get out of the pit, Mike. Terry Cook, who is parked in front of him on pit road, just parked in such a way you can see it there. Look at how the rear wheel of Cook's truck keeps Corelli from getting out. So Corelli had to put it in reverse, back up, go forward. He lost a bunch of spots as a result.
Boy, he sure did. He is well back in the order. 16th place for Corelli as we come back and take the green flag. Rick Crawford up front, and again, 75 Marty Houston tries to get back on the lead lap.
He does for the moment. Joe Ruttman, who has led this race up until he made this pit stop, will restart in 9th position.
Now Crawford is alone in the lead for drivers who have not made a pit stop.
You're exactly right, Mike. The truck right behind him, Greg Biffle, did stop on the first caution.
And the black flag is out for Marty Houston jumping the restart.
Oh, that's too bad.
So tough break for Houston. Now Joe Ruttman back there in 9th spot. Let's get an update from Ralph. Trouble, excuse me, turn 2. 3 trucks have crashed.
Wow.
2 are in the wall. 72, Randy McDonald, and is that Scott Riggs again?
Scott Riggs in the 86 is just behind him up against the outside wall.
And Greg Biffle took the lead just as it came to the start-finish line to get the caution.
That's Tom Carey there in the 10 truck.
Oh, tough break for the Massachusetts driver who had a great run going at New Hampshire last week, but came up short, and Riggs' car is severely shortened.
They had that number 1 turn to set it up where they really get through there fast, and then they think they can go through under the tunnel turn there side by side, and it just don't work.
It's a tricky part of the racetrack.
And I hope that's water and not fuel that I see leaking out of the trucks there across the racetrack.
So the Ontario driver, McDonald, is out, walks away, and Riggs has dropped the window net indicating he's okay. Now Tom Carey there has hung up his helmet. You see it hanging from the hook there in the roll cage and about to climb out. Now Marty Houston is still on the racetrack, but again being given the black flag for having jumped that prior restart means he'll have to make a stop and go penalty in the pit lane and then wait on the next restart opportunity. This is I believe 5 cautions so far. The record for the least amount of cautions in this race is 7, so we have no chance at that today, I don't think. And we'll let you folks in on a little secret. It's not really Buddy's birthday.
Thank you.
But it's a CBS Sports tradition that every time we go out to dinner, and Ralph Shaheen started this, we celebrate Buddy's birthday with a cake. And last night with a very brightly attired dancer to kind of help Buddy celebrate his not birthday. You've had more birthdays this year than Methuselah.
About 190.
I've had a lot of personal birthdays for real, but every time we go out to dinner, folks, I'm telling you, I look up and here comes something, a cake or something. But I would like to announce today is Eric Mann's birthday for real. So
he's our
happy
senior
birthday,
producer.
Eric.
We saw Tom Carey walk to the ambulance okay. Is it really his birthday?
Yes, it is.
I'll be darned.
You didn't know that, huh?
No, we didn't know that. That's good. Buddy, you've been a good
We
sport
could
about all
sing,
these
couldn't we?
birthdays.
We could sing. No,
No,
I'm
that's
not
not-
allowed to sing.
that's
Not on this channel. Here's what happened. A yellow
Gary
truck is
really
carrying-
got whacked there.
Yep. And as away he goes. Oh, it was Kurt Busch that sent him. And that was one part of it. There's Corelli going by. So it was really, this was two separate incidents.
Yeah, two different parts of the racetrack. That last wreck you looked at was down in the last corner down here.
Ralph, what'd they do on Joe Ruttman's truck?
Well, Mike, they were so pleased with the right side tires, the way that Joe Ruttman is taking care of them. Crew Chief Fred Wanke said to Joe, Joe, I'd love to give you a hug for that. You've done such a wonderful job. Joe said, gee, Fred, that's really nice, but, you know, I'd really love to have a sandwich. I'm getting a little hungry out here. They took a look at the left side tires. Now they wanted to come in, put the lefts on. They feel this way with the new tires on all the way around. They can go all the way to the front and lead this thing all the way past halfway if they have to worry about weather, Dick Berggren.
Yeah, but Ralph, what kind of sandwich are they making for him? That's really what we want to know up here. There's Rick Crawford. He is your race leader, and he has yet to make a pit stop, Dick.
And he's not going to make a pit stop until after lap 100, Mike. That is their strategy. He and crew chief Mike Cheek have just talked it over. They think rain is near enough. They believe they have enough fuel to go to lap 101. That
Really?
has been done here in the past. Joe Ruttman was the first to accomplish it. It is possible, but it is very, very risky. They are betting on rain, and they're the only ones who are.
You'd have to have an awful lot of caution laps to make it to lap 100, and so far we have.
Yeah, we did a poll of the teams down there, and they said 70 to 75 laps on a tank of fuel. Wow.
It's a big gamble. Second race that Crawford's led this year. He led a lap in Milwaukee. So Rick Crawford is rolling the dice here at Nazareth. We'll be right back after this.
Imagine staying in the house with, oh man, all three, I'd say.
Maybe some of each. All right, we'll get set for the restart. Rick Crawford has not pitted. He is the leader. Coy Gibbs is one of now 8 drivers out of the race. Dick is with him.
Well, I don't know if he's really out of the race or not. Coy, they're working on that truck. Can they get it in?
Yeah, they probably can. I'm sure it'll take a while. We hit pretty hard down there in turn 4. I think you call it turn 4, wherever that is.
But you're okay.
Yeah, we're okay.
All right, that's the important part, Mike.
There's the work going on. Trying to get him back in this race. Rick Crawford is the leader. He has not made a pit stop. Greg Biffle is in second. Jimmy Hensley third. Dennis Setzer fourth. Donnie Morlock is the 5th place truck. Carlos Contreras is in 6th and will go one more lap before we get green. 7th is Rob Morgan. 8th is Andy Houston. 9th is Steve Grissom, and 10th is Mike Wallace. Lance Norrick is 11th. Kurt Busch is 12th. Brian Reffner, 13th. Rick Corelli, 14th. Jack Sprague, Ryan McGlynn, Michael Dokken, Joe Ruttman back in 18th, and Terry Cook. Those are the trucks on the lead lap. One lap down, Marty Houston and Wayne Edwards. Among those trucks, one lap back. One driver who's been running well in this series drives that number 12, Carlos Contreras. And he's had a lot of success road racing in Mexico, won a lot of races, now trying to make his mark here. But Dick Berggren, acclimating himself to that team and to these tracks has been a tough chore for Carlos.
And the toughest part of that, Mike, is that he speaks virtually no English at all. When he first started racing in the series, all he could say was hello and goodbye. Never mind being able to tell the crew chief whether the truck was loose, whether it was pushing, or whatever it was doing. And right now, they use an interpreter, a guy named Fonz, and he speaks Spanish and English, so Contreras talks a little bit to him, while at the same time, he is trying to learn more English. Communication, not much there, but they're struggling. Ralph?
Our leader, Rick Crawford's son, Adam, is getting ready to start his Bandolero racing career, Dick. Now, Bandolero is pretty much a go-kart with a body on it. Now, the other day, Rick was trying to teach his son, Adam, a little bit about what you do in certain situations on the racetrack. He said, Adam, what do you do if it goes too wide? He said, Daddy, I go 3 wide, and you buy me a front nose.
We're back under green.
Marty Houston again.
Trying to get his lap back, number 75, and Crawford is going to beat him to turn 2.
And Marty was very careful that time not to get the nose of his truck out in front of the leader like he did the last time with black flag. So he's still a lap down.
Sprague passes Corelli in the backstretch, back in about 13th position. As we ride with Dennis Setzer.
Listen to that motor's turn RPMs. I'm telling you, it's sawing it.
Jimmy Hensley just in front of Dennis. Ooh, they sandwich Marty Houston, and Hensley almost had the nose taken off his truck.
Whoa, almost again.
Yep. Feathering the throttle, trying to get off the corner and build momentum.
And Dennis Setzer saying, I wish y'all wouldn't do that. I do have a sore shoulder here.
Setzer to the inside of Hensley now, coming off the final corner.
And just out of the throttle as they head down under the bridge there towards the back straightaway. Now watch this thing really pick up RPMs as he gets back in the throttle here.
Boy, did you see Jimmy Hensley's truck dance in the middle of that corner?
About 8,800 down the back straightaway there.
That is turning a pushrod V8 pretty tight.
Well, they call this thing a road because it's a road course and an oval track. So there were a lot of people talking about maybe even shifting down in turn 5.
Rookie Donnie Morlock has fallen pretty much to the tail end of that lead lap. Here in the back, Mike Wallace, number 2, chases 43, Steve Grissom, and 46, Rob Morgan.
And Steve Grissom really got out of shape coming off of turn 3, and Mike Wallace did a great job to keep from knocking him off the racetrack. Steve got out of position there, but Mike Wallace backed off, so they remained in those positions.
You know, as we watch everybody race back in the pack here, up front there, Rick Crawford's got to be suffering a little bit by having the older tires on, and he has one of the most tenacious drivers on the whole speedway right behind him there in Biffle.
Here back in the pack, buddy, from Brian Reffner. You're looking back at Rick Corelli's Ford with white and red. And here comes Joe Ruttman's Dodge up the inside of Corelli to take over 12th, make that 13th place. Terry Cook is right there with him, and all those drivers pitted together in that second group of pit stop.
And they can see, like we can, dark clouds moving in the north side of the speedway here. So I would say right now that they know that they better start making some moves towards the front.
Race is in the wind. This is an official race after we complete 100 laps. That's half distance. Kurt Busch, 99, looking for his 3rd win in a row. He is up to 11th. Has not been among the leaders so far. Up front for the lead.
On the outside,
Greg Biffle.
New tires.
Still inside. You're clear.
There's the difference. Rick Crawford played his hand, but I'm afraid he's going to suffer on old tires now. The trucks with new tires are going to really overhaul them.
And Ruttman continues to climb up through the field, passing Reffner. So Biffle, Crawford, and here's the 3rd place truck coming, number 16, Jimmy Hensley, with Dennis Setzer and Carlos Contreras in pursuit.
Houston right behind. He's in 6th position. As we watch Dennis Setzer trying to make a move on the Jimmy Hensley.
Not quite.
He's tried it at every point of this racetrack for about 5 or 6 laps. Hensley driving a great line. He's a former winner on this racetrack in the Busch series of NASCAR, Jimmy Hensley.
And one time, Earnhardt couldn't make it to Martinsville. They put Jimmy Hensley in Earnhardt's car. He sat on the pole for the Martinsville race up there. So Hensley, he's what you call a real veteran in the sport.
Lit a lot of laps in the inaugural truck race here, but didn't win it. Let's get an update on the 5th place truck. Here's Dick.
The 5th place truck is Carlos Contreras. That's my story, Mike. That truck was in an accident, but not on the racetrack. It was in an accident in the hauler itself. The truck came loose as they were bringing it here to the racetrack, and it started pounding into the spare truck. And before they could even turn a lap here at the Speedway, they had to fix the front end and the back end of Carrera's race truck. You ought to see the spare. It's jumped. It's gone. So this is quite a miraculous run they're having here this afternoon.
5th place so far. 65 down, 135 laps to go, and things are tightening up between Hensley and Setzer again at turn 2. That's 3rd and 4th place. There they are. Setzer the number 1. Boy, he keeps trying to dive bomb the inside and just runs out of room.
And every time they do, Contreras just keeps on coming up in that 12 truck.
That's Marty Houston, the blue and white, number 75, right in front of him. We've documented the fact that he's a lap down. Don't think he's holding them up right now. It looked like for a little while he might have been, but he's out of truck length or so in front of him, so I don't think that he's holding them up right now. And if he were, he'd let him go.
Mike Wallace just gave up 2 positions, one to Jack Sprague and one to Joe Ruttman at the end of the back straightaway.
And what's happening now is the trucks have run long enough for the tires to be getting a little warm. You're burning off some fuel, and the balanced trucks are the ones that'll move to the front.
Let's have another look at that pass. And it's at about 9th, yes, it's 9th place in the back straightaway.
Well, Ruttman didn't waste any time in that blue truck right there either. He dove in and took advantage of everybody backing off over there.
Well, the lap before in the backstretch, Sprague had honked the horn at Wallace, which meant he got into him a little with the front bumper, and then this time made the pass. We are 32 laps from halfway, 132 laps from the checkered flag. And that's the race for 9th.
Well, the trucks you're looking at right now will be up front in another 15 laps because they're absolutely just flying up through the crowd here, and they're catching the leaders at this moment.
Greg Biffle out in front by 1.4 seconds. This is the 13th race of the year Biffle has led out of 16 races. He is the point leader over Mike Wallace, Andy Houston, and Jack Sprague. This is still the best battle on the racetrack, as they have caught Rob Morgan in the 46. That's Sprague in the white and blue 24, and Ruttman in the blue and white number 18. As we look at telemetry on Joe Ruttman's Dodge.
Ruttman being very patient there. I think his truck is a little faster, certainly was at the beginning of the race, than is Sprague's. Sprague trying to find a way around Rob Morgan, and Ruttman said, okay, you make the way, and I'll follow you through.
Yeah, and you can see in the with the camera shot there that the groove in the corner there is very, very narrow. So you don't just jump out there and just pass somebody at will. You have to set them up a little bit.
Meanwhile, Dennis Setzer had passed Jimmy Hensley in that intramural battle between the two Dodges. And Setzer has now gone by Marty Houston and set sail on 2nd place Rick Crawford. But this battle is still the best one on the track.
Here comes Ruttman.
Got to run and makes the pass.
We've talked about this track being like a road course, even though it's only left turns. And on a road course, someone makes a run to the inside, you're apt to give them the line and drop in so that you don't slow down both trucks. Very different from an oval track, traditionally, where both of you would race hard into the corner and see who comes out first.
Well, I'm sure that Jack Sprague realized that the 18 truck right there of Ruttman's is much, much quicker, and he just, after a little bit, he realized he was holding him up. He moved over and let him go.
Ruttman now on Rob Morgan. This is for 8th place.
That truck is fast, Ruttman.
So Ruttman up to 8th, but still 8.6 seconds behind race leader Greg Biffle.
Now he's got some daylight between he and Steve Grissom, who is the next truck, and see how quickly he can make up that distance, or if he gains on the leader as well while he's doing it.
Let's give you a look at the interval from Greg Biffle. Here is Biffle's Ford, number 50. A Jack Roush Ford. Past Rick Crawford. Dennis Setzer, Jimmy Hensley, Carlos Contreras, Andy Houston, Steve Grissom, Joe Ruttman. And this battle now between Morgan and Jack Sprague for 9th place. Trucks on the lead lap. Back behind this group, Mike Wallace, Kurt Busch, Brian Reffner, Terry Cook, Michael Dawkins, Ryan McGlynn, Lance Norrick, Rick Corelli, Johnny Morlock are the lead lap trucks. 2nd place, Setzer is coming.
Boy, Dennis Setzer with a hurt shoulder like that is driving the wheels off that number 1 truck.
After he got around Jimmy Hensley, he was the second fastest truck on the track. He was running over 125 miles an hour. Joe Ruttman was the fastest. He was running over 126 miles an hour. But Setzer is bearing down on the leader. Long way to go before he catches the leader, but he is gaining money.
2.6 seconds is the interval this time by. First to second.
We were talking just a little while ago about the 18 truck of Joe Ruttman, and he is flying up. He's catching this front bunch, and he's almost a full mile an hour faster right now than Greg Biffle, our leader.
Ruttman on the move in 8th place, chasing 7th at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. 77 of 200 laps are complete. We'll be right back. Leads here at Nazareth, the point standing leader in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with 4 victories and 11 top 5 finishes. Dennis Setzer closing that gap. And caution is out.
Yellow's out. Slow down. Slow down. They want to pick you up right there.
Debris on the racetrack.
Race, Greg. We're coming for race. And if we got any luck at all, guys, a bunch of them guys will have to come for race too. He's coming. Watch the 9. I don't know what he's doing.
So debris on the racetrack is the reason for this caution flag. And there are some drivers like Rick Corelli and Kurt Busch who really wanted to see this caution as the handling on their trucks had gone away.
A very small piece of aluminum there on the front straightaway.
Crawford was still running in 3rd position, but he was fading a little bit.
It's not the greatest, but I don't know if we can pass that good, but I can race it like this. We can stay out front.
Greg Biffle. He and Dennis Setzer lead the pack down pit road.
Along with Crawford. He's not going to wait until 100 laps.
Nope. Dick Bergeron awaits them.
And Dennis Setzer's going to be the first of the leaders to reach his pit stall. He is feeling just fine despite that cracked shoulder blade. Setzer going to take outside tires. Last time in was lap 34 when he took inside tires. This will surely take him to the halfway point and beyond. Their strategy, try to win the race. We have been listening on the radio. Biffle said he wants to win the championship. To Ralph.
Biffle came in and took right side tires. Joe Ruttman has decided to come in to get the truck freed up just a little bit on the 18. His truck has been very fast and clear racetrack, Mike, some 7/10 of a second faster than everybody else, but he needed to get freed up a little bit. Biffle just took the right side tires. They feel very good about the handling of their trucks.
Long stop for Kurt Busch, the fellow who's trying to win his 3rd mile track race in a row. And it looks from here like they're pulling out the right front fender on Busch's truck.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Now he'll be the last truck on the lead lap, so they probably have about another 20 seconds they can work on this without losing a lap or any more positions, and they send him away. The big loser on that exchange was Jack Sprague, who, like Rick Corelli on his pit stop before, Sprague got blocked behind the pit stall of Marty Houston, had to pull forward, back up, take off, and go 3 wide down pit lane. Let's show you that jam up as Steve Grissom comes into his pit. 24 is Sprague, and you see where he stopped. He's right close there to Houston, has to back up, get out. Okay, I'm coming. Move over.
Oh, wow.
Here's what Mike Wallace saw of that in his mirror.
Mike Wallace has had 3 or 4 times that he's been very close to getting run into on pit road.
And Carlos Contreras was the truck that got caught to the outside on that. Maybe it's a good thing he doesn't speak much English. We might not want to heard his comments at this moment. Dick, trouble on Kurt Busch. What is it?
Well, they're just trying to get the chassis squared away. He's been loose in, tied off, Mike, and all day long, not only has the gear been wrong, but they've had trouble with the chassis in the truck. Rarely do they run something that's different from Biffle, but here they are doing that. And it's Busch's very first time here at Nazareth, and he's having his work cut out for him. It's a tough day.
Now, earlier we talked about Greg Biffle racing for the championship. Points are very important. If you don't finish, you don't get many. And maybe that means a driver who's not up toward the top of the points might take a little extra chance thinking that Greg won't. Remains to be seen. 86 laps complete, 14 to halfway, 114 to the finish. And we're back under green.
Green, green.
Boy, Terry Cook got a great jump there as they took off.
He had a top 10 finish in the works at New Hampshire. Got in somebody's oil and backed it into the wall with just 2 laps to go. Tore the back end off that truck 1 week ago. Now it's 0-0. Ryan McGlynn did not pit, and he is the second-place truck. Greg Biffle is third.
That's momentarily. I see Greg Biffle just eating him up as they come out of the corner there.
Joe Ruttman made a great pit stop. He came out. He is in 4th position. He'd been passing trucks in a hurry on the racetrack, but he also passed a few on that pit stop. So he had the fastest truck all afternoon and got himself back in good position here now.
Mike, it's incredible as they build the air pressures up in these trucks after pit stops, how long it takes the trucks to really get back in the racing form where they can just do passes at will.
Biffle working on McGlynn. He's a little slow right there in the center of turn 2. Let's see if Biffle gets a run down the back straightaway at him.
Well, he's coming to the inside now. I think it's done.
And here comes Ruttman right up with them. Joe Ruttman in the 18 is there.
And here is where his truck has been very strong. As Buddy pointed out earlier, coming off of the corners, that truck is really getting traction. Has great gearing in it. Didn't quite make the pass then, but he will probably before this lap is over.
I'd say he's right now.
Ruttman didn't wait for the straightaway. Got right under McGlynn in the middle of the corner. He's the 3rd-place truck. McGlynn now 4th. Dennis Setzer is 5th. Andy Houston is 6th. Rick Crawford is 7th. Then Jimmy Hensley, Brian Reffner, Mike Wallace, Rob Morgan, and Rick Corelli. Big jam up there for 9th place.
Marty Houston still being shown, 75, still being shown a lap down, but the trucks racing around him there are really racing for position.
And we're about to have 2 of them, Ned, racing for the lead. Biffle has caught Terry Cook at the front of the pack in turn 1.
That didn't take long. Cook had gotten himself a good lead, but now Biffle has cut it down to nothing, and right there is Joe Ruttman, too.
And Joe Ruttman in that blue Dodge truck is making a move. I mean, if I was to ever ride a race in a race again, I would want to be in a truck just like Joe Ruttman has, because it is lightning fast in the corner.
Here he comes. Biffle gets a run on the inside. And 2 of them go by. Now
we'll see who has what.
See if Ruttman can do what he can do with Biffle.
I think he can. The truck just looks unbeatable today. When he turns it, it turns. It accelerates great. And he actually, right in this area is where he really makes up time. When he gets back in the throttle here, that truck has just been pulling right back up on anything that he's running behind.
Look at our serial scoring in the upper left. If you see one of those position boxes in green, that driver gained a position last lap. If you see it in red, that driver lost a spot. So we're about to have youth and enthusiasm against old age and treachery.
Ruttman lost a little bit.
Yes, he did. I noticed that. Maybe that truck is a little bit better with everybody but Greg Biffle.
And maybe when he pulls up on another truck, it might have some effect on the air, maybe a little bit of aero push or something like that.
Yeah, these trucks are 59 inches tall, so when you get behind another truck, it definitely messes up the aerodynamics of them.
These trucks, they push a lot of wind out of the way. Makes them fun to watch on the bigger tracks where they can draft and pass at will. Jack Roush's trucks have won the last 5 races. Greg Biffle and Kurt Busch, the drivers. We asked Greg Biffle, does Roush have an unfair advantage here?
The unfair advantage is the Granger team altogether. It's just a great group of guys, and you know, we've got a great program this year. We've definitely stepped it up since last year, in fact, and Kurt on board as a teammate has helped our program a little bit, and man, we're doing things right now.
Didn't go his his way in that back straightaway. It looked almost like he pulled over and let Joe Ruttman by to lead.
I don't know what happened there. He backed off, pulled over to the left, and just let Ruttman go right on by, and I don't understand why.
Ralph, what happened?
Well, Mike, you talked it over to this crew chief, Randy Goss, and they decided that they were running harder than they wanted to. So they decided to let Joe Ruttman go by and try to save what they have in their tires to make a run out of lane.
They've been watching Mark Martin too much, I think. He does that all the time, but they have a game plan.
Dennis Setzer has just passed Terry Cook. That moves Setzer up to third. Cook's last win, Flemington, New Jersey, 52 races ago, back in the 98 season. Qualified on the outside pole here and has had a strong run. Don't forget, Biffle and Ruttman were teammates 2 years ago for Jack Roush. Biffle in the number 50. Ruttman drove the 99 that is now wheeled by Kurt Busch. So we're coming up on halfway in just 2 laps here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Joe Ruttman is in the lead. We've had 4 leaders, Ruttman, Biffle, Crawford, and Cook. 5 lead changes and 7 cautions for 24 laps. Right now, 13 trucks are either in the garage or being worked on off the track. The lead lap trucks now are making pit stops under this caution flag for Rob Morgan's spin.
Well, some of the lead trucks are in.
Yes.
Yes, there's Jimmy Hensley and Andy Houston, Greg Biffle, all going out.
Keep digging. There you go.
Yeah, did it good. But Joe Ruttman, who was leading, did not stop. Dennis Setzer did not stop, and several others who were on the lead lap did not stop.
Ralph?
Mike, they decided to take left side tires and clean the grill and some fuel on the truck of Greg Biffle. Now, the biggest problem was to make sure that they had the truck angled the right direction out of the pits because they were afraid they'd get hung up behind Rick Corelli. That worked out fine, and he is back underway. Nick?
Well, Dennis Setzer stayed out. They have decided the truck is running so well. And, you know, everybody keeps looking at the sky. It was supposed to pour today. We got up this morning, and that was the forecast. Rain all day long. And Howard Comstock thinks the rain is going to come with his truck in the lead. We'll see.
Well, you see those dark clouds out the Mopar Performance Cam of Dennis Setzer. Here's Mike Wallace in 10th place. As we've had pit stops by many of the leaders, and there are 2 sequences of trucks on the lead lap making pit stops. They are not all pitting together as we would normally see because there are different strategies. Let's show you why the caution came out. It's down in turn number 3, the 46 of Rob Morgan is going to get a little help here getting turned.
That's Lance Norick in the 90 there that makes a little contact as they head down in the corner there. See Morgan spinning there. Lance Norick right here starting off. He goes to the return road. Steve Grissom, a majority of trucks went to the high side and made it by.
One that did not was Tom Boston, the number 9 truck, flattened a tire on the right front, and now he has an extended stay on pit road. Wow. So we're just past halfway.
I just noticed a lot of damage to Steve Grissom's truck, the 43 truck. The right rear corner is just gnarled up.
I think Steve slowed down because of that wreck in front of him. Didn't know which way to go. And then I think there was another truck that came up beside of him. They perhaps got together a little bit.
Tonight on CBS, 10 strangers have moved into a tiny house with cameras recording their every move. Tonight, watch and decide who will you vote to kick out. Don't miss an all-new Big Brother tonight on CBS.
The one crying wouldn't be a bad idea.
They even have a camera in the chicken coop. I don't know why, but they do.
From on board Greg Biffle's truck, you can see that damage. Now we see it from a high camera on the right rear of the number 43 Dodge.
Steve Grissom.
Don't think that'll hurt him that much.
No, because this part up in here is the spoiler and all, and that's straight still.
They have yet to settle on a crew chief for that team. They've been kind of going crew chief by committee since Fred Wanke left that team in mid-May, and so maybe a change is there as early as next week or perhaps a little further down the road. Dick?
Well, Freddie Graves is crewing for that team right now, Mike, and that's an interesting situation because Freddie Graves with Ron Hornaday driving for him won the race here in 1998. And Grissom has kind of been the cue ball today. It just seems as if everybody's hitting him. It started out real early, and we just about got the green flag, and he reported on the radio that the 24 Sprague had run into him, and he's been hit several times and had to repit at one point for loose lug nuts. He's just had a miserable day. So when you look at that truck, you can't identify the bent sheet metal as one incident. There have been several.
6 cautions today. We're about to go green, and again, Marty Houston, he's tenacious. He's the truck on the inside trying to get his lap back from the race leader, Joe Ruttman.
Ready.
Green flag. Oh, Marty got a little loose there out of turn 1 and couldn't quite get past Ruttman.
Yeah, and right here, Ruttman just pulls him off of that turn. Houston comes back a little bit, but Ruttman's truck is so strong, so that's a tough one to try to pass to get a lap back.
At 8,800 as he goes down in the corner there.
138 miles an hour at the end of that straightaway.
And Setzer was very, very careful on that restart. He does have an injury to his right shoulder for the people who are just joining the broadcast right now, and he has to be very careful not to re-injure. He broke his scapula, which is the top part of the shoulder blade.
Thank you, Dr. Baker.
Thank you much. Yes.
106 laps down. There is Dennis Setzer in the K Racing, Bob Keselowski's #1 Dodge. Bob standing by in relief. And Dennis says, I am not getting out of this truck today.
Not as good as that thing's running. That's as good a medicine as he could have.
Back at 12th place, they battle Jack Sprague, Rick Corelli, trying to move back up after pit stops. Still 18 trucks on the lead lap. Rob Morgan is the last of those. And just ahead of him, Kurt Busch, who's been struggling all day in his attempt to win his 3rd race in a row. Ralph?
Mike, they made some adjustments. They hooked up the rear sway bar on the 99. They put on left side tires on this last stop, and they're hoping to get him back up into this thing. Kurt Busch basically told me his key to this weekend is just his normal strategy of getting in laps. And that's what they're hoping to do here today.
When he's not at the races in his limited free time, he likes going to Major League ballparks. Wrigley Field, Comerica Park. Had a little fun doing that this year.
Boy, they were almost 3 deep there for a moment as Andy Houston got a run on Greg Biffle, and the 12 truck there went motoring right on by.
Biffle had to get out of it. You're right. There were 3 wide down the back straightaway. Biffle rolled out of throttle. Andy Houston never even thought about rolling out.
Oh, nope. Carlos Contreras let him in. We're on board Brian Reffner, the Team Menard camera. That's Jimmy Hensley just ahead. This is for 8th place, this battle.
Now this is a Chevrolet, and you'll see the RPMs there about 84, 8,500. The Dodges turn a little more RPM to make the speed that they need to get around the speedways, where a Chevrolet depends a little more on torque.
So Reffner's truck carrying a taller gear than the Dodge because he got all the way down to 6,000 RPM in the middle of the corner and tacks out about, what, 400 RPM less than the Dodge?
Exactly, and they say they have to turn them that way to get the speed they need.
Mike Wallace for 12th place now with Jack Sprague. Wallace #2, Sprague 24.
Mike Wallace shows a little damage to his truck also on the right rear corner as Sprague looks him over there.
Our Team ASE cam looking back at Jack Sprague, 2-time series champion. Coy Gibbs making a pit stop. 10 trucks out of this race or being worked on. And we are 88 laps from the finish. Joe Ruttman is trying to run away and hide. CBS Sports coverage in the Nazareth 200 continues after this message and a word from your CBS station. As Joe Ruttman has the lead by 3 seconds over Dennis Setzer. Let's have a look at the advantage. Terry Cook is 3rd. Dodge, Chevrolet, Dodge at the front. There's your 2nd place truck.
That's almost a full back straightaway lead that he has on Dennis Setzer, but
and Setzer has a similar lead over the third place truck of Terry Cook.
Terry Cook in the orange and green truck there. Radioed.
And a lapped car separate them from Steve Grissom and Andy Houston. There's Andy Houston in yellow and red trying to hold off Greg Biffle. Carlos Contreras in 7th, having one of his better runs than Jimmy Hensley, Brian Reffner, and Rick Crawford. There's a look at who's moved up since we last had a caution flag. And you watch from our Granger onboard camera on Greg Biffle. For more on Biffle, here's Ralph.
Well, Mike, the biggest problem for Greg Biffle right now is not getting around Andy Houston. He just rated in and said, guys, I got this one little bead of sweat on the end of my nose, and I'm wearing a full-face helmet. I can't get my fingers in there to get rid of it.
Rosanna Dana.
Oh, boy.
Jeez, Ralph.
Tell him to shake his head up and down. It helps.
If that's the biggest problem he's having, it's a pretty good day.
Houston's truck is not getting off the corners quite as good as Biffle's is. Biffle gets a little bit of a run. Now, right here, he's been gaining a little bit on him. He's a little bit closer this time, but this time, Biffle's truck seems to push up a little bit. But there, see, he gets a good run there, but not quite enough to get a nose alongside him. So
yes, he's making a look, but Andy Houston just chopped him off going in the corner there. A lot of racing from the mirror on Andy Houston right now.
Last time by in turn 3, Rick Corelli just put a sledgehammer on Kurt Busch. I mean, pounded him in the middle of the corner. Here's Corelli, 66, who started 3rd, completing the pass on Kurt Busch, winner of the last 2 races here on CBS. And Corelli will move up to 13th place. It wasn't so much that Corelli really wanted to slam him, but Busch's truck just about stopped in the middle of the next corner they're coming to down there.
You know, and that happens a lot. Getting in the corner, if one truck checks up a little bit, you don't have time to react, and you run into them trying to get to the brake pedal.
18 trucks still on the lead lap.
And it's kind of a surprise that Kurt Busch would not be a contender here in Nazareth after he mastered the mile tracks at Milwaukee and Loudon.
Certainly a different design racetrack.
And that's why they call it racing instead of winning. You have to earn them. And I'll tell you right now, the truck's a little bit off, and these guys are passing him left and right at the moment.
Now, 46, Rob Morgan's spin did not take him off the lead lap, so he is battling Busch for position, and that would be for 15th place.
Lance Nork and the 90 goes right by Kurt Busch, and that's what I mean. When you're not handling, everybody gangs up on you.
10 trucks out of the race, 21 running, 19, make that 18 of those on the lead lap. Black flag out for number 93, Wayne Edwards, too slow. Greg Biffle running pretty much the tire tracks of Andy Houston here. Contreras and Reffner closing in on the 2 of them as we watch from Greg Biffle's truck. There's Contreras and Reffner right behind.
Right with Greg Biffle.
Yeah, it hadn't been that long ago. He was leading the race and just pulled over and let Joe Roman go. I thought he had the truck to beat, but right now, Andy Houston able to hold him off.
Of course, he's made a pit stop since then. But he is having a tough time getting around Houston.
Good battle here as Rick Corelli just moved underneath Jack Sprague, and Corelli, who had gotten blocked in the pits, moves up to take over the 12th spot. And there's a look at Corelli chasing Mike Wallace.
You see the way that truck came out of the corner there. What a bullet.
Qualified 3rd and now moves up to 11th.
Shooting flames out the exhaust. That's unspent fuel there. That's not a problem. And it ought to be spitting fire, but the way it's running out of the corner, that thing is moving.
For more on Corelli, here's Ralph.
Mike, he did start very well in this race, and if you remember in the first third of the race, he started to slip backwards. That's because during one of those caution periods, he got pushed over the rumble strips, and it developed a bad push in the truck. Due to the last couple of pit stops, guys have been able to work that pushback out of the truck, and that's why Rick Corelli is now working his way quickly back up through the field.
So Rick Corelli back up to 11. Mike Wallace now trying to hold back Jack Sprague. There's a look from our ASE camera on board Wallace, and a look back at Sprague from Wallace.
That's Sprague in the blue truck right there on the outside.
And Michael Dokken challenging Sprague. That's for position. That's for 13th place. And Dokken's going to get him.
He's still working on him. Sprague got a great drive up out of there. Dokken not giving inches, though. Side by side as they head under the tunnel and through the sweep. Dokken takes the spot.
So Michael Dokken moves up to 14th, or excuse me, 13th place. And here's our leader, Joe Ruttman. He now leads Dennis Setzer by 3.3 seconds. It's another 7 seconds back to third place, Terry Cook. We'll be right back. Busch had just been lapped and stops for right side tires. Terry Cook, who has been running up near the front all day, number 88.
And I guess this would be a scheduled pit stop for Cook, because he's been out there a long time, Ralph.
Well, he's going to take right side tires, Ned, and he has been out for a long time. They make a chassis adjustment to the truck, fill it up for fuel, but it is costing him a lot of time to get that pit stop completed. And the way that everybody else has been rolling, it's going to be a tough break for Terry Cook.
Well, a tough break for Kurt Busch in the 99 truck. He was too fast going out pit road, so he's going to have to come back in, so his troubles continue.
He is coming in as we speak. He's entering pit road. Kurt Busch.
All right, 138 laps down. Still 62 laps. A lot of racing left. But they've got to catch this fella. Father Time, Joe Ruttman. He's not that old. He's 55. Jimmy Henson's 54.
Exactly. Let me tell you, that's not old. When you can set up a truck as well as he can and know the racetracks that they compete on like he does, he could race till he's 65. I'm convinced of that.
He lacks Ruttman lacks 17 days of being a full year older than Jimmy Henson. But that's not old.
No, my father won races up till he was 60 years old. So
Sure
I
did.
mean, there's certainly nothing wrong as long as you stay active. If you quit for a couple of years, you won't make it back. As long as you stay active, you'll be good.
Ruttman trying to lap Lance Norrick. That's the 14th place truck. Second place, Dennis Setzer. Crash early on at New Hampshire last week. Broke his shoulder. But he's had an active week of rehab, and he's back on board that truck and says he feels pretty well.
Yeah, he says getting in and out of the truck is the tough part. You know, holding yourself up to go through the window and then coming out, he has to have help getting out of the truck.
So Ruttman trying to become the 6th driver to win from the pole this year.
Well, it's certainly not over. Can I tell you, on a racetrack like this, just one little slip, one little, as you pass lap trucks here, just one little slip and everything goes away. So he has to really concentrate. And when you have a big lead like this, you tend to kind of get complacent because you're really just riding out there. Nobody's after you, so you can get a little careless when you have a big lead.
Coming up on Rob Morgan, who is in 13th position, trying to put a lap on him.
And here comes Kurt Busch with fresh tires on the right side.
He's 3 laps down, so he's trying to come up and get one of those back. And of course, if he gets to Ruttman won't fight him because, you know, hey, he's 2 laps down already to fool with him.
No, he said, I've been to this banquet before, and I know what to do. He'll move right over and let him go.
Mike Wallace coming into the pits. He fought that thing as long as he wanted to.
Yep.
Decided he had gone a lap down, so he's coming in.
That's the brakes you hear squealing.
Right side of the truck is up for tires. And a big chassis adjustment on the right rear. Wallace away will lose another lap. He came in 1 lap behind.
Now, if this thing goes green the rest of the way, he might have a chance to make up at least one of those laps.
Jack Sprague in the 24 there. Ruttman looking to the inside to put him a lap down.
Wow. Start the VCR, folks, because it isn't often you get to watch Jack Sprague get lapped. That's usually a very, very competitive truck. Two-time champion. The Steve Grissom team did some charting of prior caution flags in this race and found that in the lap 140 to 155 area we're in right now, that is the Bermuda Triangle of the second half of this race. That generally you get on 3 or 4 occasions we've had a caution or two in this part of the race. So if probability and statistics are important, that may happen. Now Ruttman is going to have to pit soon for fuel. We'll find out how soon when we come back. There are 54 laps to go here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Joe Ruttman is your race leader. 49 laps to go at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Ned Jarrett. This man, Joe Ruttman, oldest driver in the field, and he's trying to walk away with the Nazareth 200. He leads Dennis Setzer now by 4.2 seconds. But he'll need a pit stop soon for fuel and maybe for that sandwich that Fred Wanke promised him. How about it, Ralph?
We're here with Fred Wanke, the crew chief for Joe Ruttman. Fred, are you going to have to pit and when, and what are you going to do to the truck?
I think Joe's doing such a good job and the Dayton Dogs are running so good. I really hate to pit, but I think here in about 8 or 10 laps, we're going to have to pit. Harrington Motors just using a little bit of fuel, so we're going to have to put some more in it.
Well, I see fuel and tires here, but how about the sandwich? Are you going to get him that sandwich?
We're just going to put a couple of right side tires on it and go.
I guess no sandwich, Dick.
Maybe in victory lane. Dick? .47 to go. Ruttman leading in a Dodge, the pole sitter. A Dodge has never won here, but right now Dodge drivers are in the first 3 positions in this race. Back to the pits, the editor of Speedway Illustrated, Dick Berggren.
There's been conversation between Dennis Setzer, who is driving in the 2nd position in truck number 1, and his crew chief, Howard Comstock. Comstock said he can stay out there until about lap 175. That's approximately 20 laps from now. Then Setzer's going to have to come in. They're going to put right side tires on it and fuel. He cannot go all the way. Running in 3rd position, Steve Grissom in Richard Petty's number 43 truck. He pitted last on lap 86. He can go to around lap 180 for fuel, and he too will need to pit. So all the top trucks are going to have to pit, and that could well stir up the finish of this race.
That it could. I'll tell you, the man who has had the drive of the day as we watch Steve Grissom trying to hold back Greg Biffle. This is the battle for 3rd place. Dennis Setzer started 19th, broken shoulder. Not sure many people had him on the top of their card as a pick to win today, but boy, Setzer's been very impressive.
His truck has been good. He has driven it well. The pit stops due to come up before too long. How is that going to change things? It will change things for sure.
As we watch Steve Grissom in 43, he's run 15 races this season in the Truck Series, and in 13 of those, he's finished ahead of where he started. Today, he started 7th. Right now, he's running 3rd.
But that's in jeopardy with Greg Biffle moving up on him.
Whoa, Biffle shook that car loose coming off the corner.
Back end did get very loose on him. Those tires, as they get heated up, and a lot of corners here at the Nazareth Speedway, and some slipping and sliding.
Took a very different line than Steve Grissom off that last turn. 157 laps complete, 43 to go, and pit stops are coming. So we'll be back with CBS Sports coverage of the Nazareth 200 after this message and a word from your local station. Has made his pit stop, and 2nd place driver Dennis Setzer has also just completed his. It'll move Greg Biffle and Jack Roush Ford up on top of the leaderboard. Steve Grissom in a Dodge into 2nd, Brian Reffner 3rd, Carlos Contreras to 4th, and Jimmy Hensley to 5th, and Rick Corelli, who was in danger of being lapped, is up to 6th. Trouble in turn 2. A truck in the fence.
Will this be a break for those who had not pitted.
Wayne Edwards, 93. Be a break for Jack Sprague. This should put Sprague back up with the lead lap trucks. And Biffle comes slow to the start-finish line, takes the caution, and then moves back in front of Steve Grissom. See how bad a break it is for Joe Ruttman, who pitted with the lead. And Ruttman is still on the lead lap, as is Dennis Setzer. So Terry Cook has gone a lap down. So has Rick Crawford, as Edwards makes his way around to the pits.
You know, Mike, Biffle backed off before he got to start-finish line, and Grissom got by him before they got to the flag stand. I don't know. I think NASCAR will have to make the call.
Yeah, I think that Biffle will go back in front.
You're exactly right. Now they do it.
Terry Cook, I think he believed he had gotten back on the lead lap, and now he is waiting to drop into line. Cook is still one lap down. We'll have some pit stops for sure. And it's going to be Greg Biffle leading them down, and Steve Grissom will be next. He'll stop in front of Dick Berggren.
Steve Grissom has finished twice here at Nazareth, but not in trucks. That was in the Busch Grand National Series. He is currently running in second position. That caution flag was a lucky break for him. He would have to have pitted just 10 laps from now. They're going to put outside tires on this battered and beaten truck. 1 can of fuel. Everybody is saying just get the tires on, not wait on the fuel. Just a little over 10 seconds for Grissom. To Ralph.
Greg Biffle's doing the same thing. Right side tires and just 1 can of gas. A good pit stop for Biffle. He is backing out in front of Steve Grissom.
Now, under the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series rules, they can only change 2 tires during a caution. Joe Ruttman was just in on a green flag, changed 2 tires. Now he has come back in to get the other 2. He's going to have 4 fresh tires.
And that's trouble for the rest of this field.
Yes, it is, as fast as he was already.
35 to go.
Now, Dennis Setzer was in the same position as Ruttman. He could have come in too and taken on left side tires. He chose not to. He stayed out there, I guess, for track position.
So here, look at some of the green flag pit stops. This is Ruttman at the bottom of your screen and Andy Houston at the top coming in under green.
Ruttman in the blue truck, the yellow one there, of course, Houston. Red and yellow truck back there.
Both getting right side tires. That was green flag pit stops not too long ago, just before the caution came out.
Both are still on the lead lap.
Ruttman had a big enough lead that he could come in and stay on the lead lap. He didn't stay in the lead, but he stayed on the lead lap.
Ralph?
Well, Mike, the problem for Joe Ruttman was a blistered right front tire. That's why they had to come back down on pit road. It was wore out on this right front, and they decided to come in and change those right side tires. They feel now that he is good to go and that they've been able to change those rights.
Well, he will line up on the restart in 8th place. Michael Dokken has assumed the lead. Dennis Setzer, by staying out and not pitting under caution, like Dokken, Setzer is second. Greg Biffle is third. Steve Grissom is fourth. Rick Corelli up another spot on the board to fifth. Jimmy Hensley, Brian Reffner, Joe Ruttman, Jack Sprague, and Carlos Contreras are the 10 trucks that are on the lead lap. 1 lap back, Terry Cook, Rick Crawford, Marty Houston, Mike Wallace, and Andy Houston. 2 laps down, Lance Norrick, Kurt Busch, Rob Morgan, and Ryan McGlynn. Michael Dokken up at the front of the field. Getting set for the restart.
They'll get the green flag the next time around. They get the signal this time. There'll be 1 to go.
Mike, you got to pull for Michael Dokken. You remember a few years back he was dropped from a truck team, thought he had a legitimate ride, just followed this group around for a couple of years there and finally got another chance to drive, and he's done very well in the 51 truck.
Yeah, they're very happy with him. This is the first race this year that he has led. Look back from the Team ASE cam of Mike Wallace, and from the Menards camera on board Brian Reffner. Trouble on Rick Crawford's truck, Dick.
Well, it appears to be the spacer in the upper left front control arm, Mike. They've got that's exactly what it is. The left front wheel is just not tight on that thing. They tried to get that spacer back in again. They appear to have successfully done so. An alert crew member just grabbed 7/8" wrenches off the hood just before Crawford left. Wow.
1 lap down is Rick Crawford.
And he's going to have a hard time catch up to the back of the field before they get the green. They're coming off of turn 5 here now, and he's just going off of turn 2.
32 laps to go when they get back to the start-finish line and take the green flag. Terry Cook is going to try to get a lap back from leader Michael Dokken. Waiting on the green flag, and here we go.
Green, green, green.
Oh, Dokken gets banged and saves it.
What a drive. Wow.
Almost all the way around, and yet he saved it.
You hear they say every once in a while there's wrecks on the racetrack where you don't hit anything. Well, that was it.
Trouble, Greg Biffle, very slow off turn 2. It looked it ganged up on it.
3 wide.
This is a recipe for a wreck.
Greg Biffle did just motor right on by on the outside there. Whatever happened over on the back straightaway, he did regroup and then pass everybody back before he got in the corner.
Busch and Pirelli traded a little paint there out of turn 1. And Pirelli gets passed by Jimmy Hensley. Kind of loss of momentum will hurt you.
Terry Cook did get a good jump, and he got back on the lead lap. He's pretty far out in front of Dokken, who is leading this race.
And to the inside comes the 90 truck. And slips past Dokken, Lance Norrick.
Let's see, does that put him back on the lead lap, or is he 2 down?
It'll put him 1 lap down, Ned. To 1 lap down. That was the truck, Norrick's truck, that bumped Dokken on the restart and almost turned him around.
Lead change coming up. There's Dennis Setzer looking to the outside, but Dokken fights him off as they go down into turn 5.
But coming off of the corner, Dennis has the traction, and looks like he'll take the lead.
Broken shoulder and all. Dennis Setzer goes to the front.
Now Steve Grissom.
Trouble in the wall goes Ryan McGlynn. And Marty Houston slams into the fence.
And more trucks getting together.
Yep, Kurt Busch was a part of that one. He got away. Carlos Contreras got into it.
Brian Refner right there. He's in it.
Caution is out.
That's Marty Houston's truck there. A lot of damage to the front of it. It hit the inside guardrail very, very hard.
I have lost track of how many cautions this is. I knew I should have brought a longer piece of paper. I'm going to guess we're up to at least 8. Could be 9. 8th caution. 31 laps of yellow so far today. As we look at Marty Houston's truck underneath the bridge at turn 2. Carlos Contreras got a lot of damage in that one.
He's had a good steady run all day today and now get caught up this close to the finish.
Well, those trucks, there were so many of them running so close together back there that you had to expect something to happen.
We'll update that. It's the 9th caution of the day. So let's first show you the restart where Lance Norrick gets into leader Michael Dokken.
Dokken takes off, and so does Terry Cook on the inside. But then right there, you see that contact.
Whoa! And here is coming out of turn 1.
That's brother to brother there, just in front of him, the 00.
Yeah, McGlynn. They were all trying to miss McGlynn.
And then Kurt Busch got down the inside of Marty Houston and spun him around.
Yep, Contreras got up in the fence and Refner spun to the inside. Now up ahead of this, the 00 has bounced off the wall, so everybody's trying to check up.
Now how in the world Kurt Busch even made it back onto the racetrack without wrecking there?
And Jack Sprague threaded the needle and missed that one. From the back of Brian Refner.
Okay.
Marty Houston walking away. 9th caution of the day. 27 laps to go. Can anybody takeover from Dennis Setzer. It's Dodge up front, Setzer and Grissom, Michael Dockett, Greg Biffle, Jimmy Hensley, Rick Corelli, and Joe Ruttman. Dennis Setzer's hard crash there. A lot of talk in all the NASCAR garage areas about how to reduce impact severity. Dennis Setzer's broken shoulder from this crash may have been caused by a stuck throttle. A lot of drivers are talking about foam walls. Jimmy Johnson broke a brake line at Watkins Glen, but walked away. In the NASCAR truck garage area, there are other efforts underway.
The problem that we're having is secondary throttles are hanging wide open throttle. So we've made some new pieces, 2 new pieces, that will prevent this from happening. The linkage hangs here when you go past 100% wide open throttle, and that causes the throttle to hang wide open. So we've made this piece here for the primary not to be allowed to go past wide open throttle. You make your adjustment here. Then we've added this piece for the secondary linkage so that that can't go past wide open throttle.
Truck racers Mike Wallace and Jack Sprague have added a toe loop here above the gas pedal. If the throttle sticks, the driver may be able to lift his foot and release it. In NASCAR's modified division, there's an automatic shut-off device used between the carburetor and the throttle linkage. If the linkage comes back, but the throttle hangs open, a micro switch breaks the circuit and the ignition shuts off, killing the engine. So a lot of different efforts and discussions underway in how to improve racing safety, both for the speedways and for the cars and trucks that race on them. Another long pit stop for Rick Crawford with the hood up. 24 laps to go. We'll be right back. Restarted this race, and it'll be 20 laps to go next time by. Dennis Setzer was working lap traffic, and Steve Grissom got under him. Here comes Setzer back for the lead. He's got it at turn 1.
And Steve Grissom showing some smoke out of the right rear corner of that truck as he goes through the corners. I don't know what the problem is, but just a little faint smoke going out of the back of the 43.
Got a lot of damage to the right rear. We had looked at his truck a little bit earlier. It could be just something rubbing a little bit in one of the corners. There's Sandy Houston in the 60 truck. He's a lap down, moves over and lets Biffle go by.
Greg Biffle on the move right now. You can see the smoke still pouring out of the 43 as he starts up out of the corner. Biffle really flying up through here.
Look at this, 3 abreast they came into this corner as everybody battling for last chance here with less than 20 laps to go. And where is the man who's been fastest all day, Joe Ruttman? He's in 4th place, 1.6 seconds off the lead, and he's got some lap trucks to get past, and he's going to have a shot to win this.
Exactly right. He's running out of laps right now, Ned, and he's got to really turn it up. You see the blue truck just behind this group right here. He's trying, looking to the inside, outside, but can't make a move right now.
Where Dennis Setzer's out there running in clear air. No one even close to him right now, so he's able to...
Trouble. Grissom slows, and Biffle just shoots on past him, Dick.
Well, they said there was nothing wrong with Grissom's truck. We don't know why he has slowed down on the speedway. The crew is watching our television broadcast, trying to figure it out for themselves, Mike.
Wow. And the 11th place truck, Carlos Contreras, makes a pit stop under green.
He's had a great day, but unfortunately got involved in a little incident and now back on pit road. Going to ruin what was a good day for him.
Joe Ruttman just got by Grissom as he continues on his march to the back of the field right now.
But Ruttman's got to deal with Kurt Busch. Busch is 2 laps down.
Ruttman's not real patient, so he'll give him a little wake-up call here if he don't get by him pretty quick.
Yeah, he can't afford to be patient right now because
16 to go.
Those laps are winding down. And every half a lap that he's behind one of these trucks here is costing him valuable time. There he makes the pass behind Busch.
And I'm sure the spotters told Kurt Busch that Ruttman was coming and not to create a problem.
Now Dennis Setzer has caught Mike Wallace back again to put him a lap down. Wallace got the jump on the start of the race, and that's how Grissom got around Setzer. Now here comes Wallace back on the inside.
Oh, he catches him.
Wow, that's not good. Well, Setzer holds on to it, though.
Sorry, folks. I thought he turned him around there.
Yeah, don't turn over the couch.
What that did, though, give Biffle a good run up there. He's closing ground right now on Dennis Setzer, and we know Dennis Setzer, even though he's out in front right now, is not 100%.
No. Show you that contact once again.
Here's Mike Wallace down on the inside of Setzer, and they do make contact. Both of them get out of shape. But,
you know, not Wallace's fault. Setzer must have thought he had cleared Mike Wallace and came down to apex the corner. That board was there.
Well, he had already made the pass, and he didn't figure that he would make a run back on him because they're not running for position. So he thought he had the racetrack and started in the corner.
Good point.
The lead stands at 1.3 seconds. There's Grissom, who's dropped back to fourth, and there's something dragging on that truck. A lot of sparks.
Yeah, there's sparks out of the back of the truck as he goes through the corner there. His piece of metal is definitely dragging the racetrack.
Rutman has caught Andy Houston. Now Houston is not battling him for position. Houston's a lap down, lets Rutman go. So the third place truck still has to get past Mike Wallace to have a shot at Biffle or Setzer, the leader. 12 laps to go.
Boy, Rutman is really coming up through there. He's moving in on Mike Wallace just behind their leader right there, Dennis Setzer. Dennis right now has to really concentrate on running perfect laps because he and Biffle start racing. Joe Rutman will catch him.
Well, of course, he's pulled away from Biffle now, has a pretty good lead over him. And you're right, just run those perfect laps. Don't heat those tires up. Don't get the truck crossways. Spin it off the corners. Spin the tires.
But Biffle has shown this is the way you win championships. Keep that car up in the lead pack. Don't make any mistakes. Get a top 5 finish. He's going to get a second place finish. There's the gap, first to second. And Rutman's coming. Here's Rutman. He has cleared Mike Wallace. He has 10 laps to do it.
A lot of racetrack to make up. Rutman has been the class of the field all day long, but right now Dennis Setzer is his race. If he don't make a mistake, I think he has the truck.
Biffle is 1.7 seconds back. Rutman is 3.3 seconds off the lead with 10 to go.
You know, we talk it's his race. It's not his race. All he has to do is slip in one corner, and you lose that advantage he has right now over second place. They start racing, all of a sudden Rutman's right up there with him.
And that's the best thing that could happen, though, to Dennis Setzer is if Rutman catches Greg Biffle and battles him for second.
Well, he's on his way. I'll tell you, he's burning that truck up, trying to get to the front right now. He's closed down about 10 or 12 trucks in the last lap.
Rutman gained 0.2 of a second, while Biffle lost 1/10 of a second to the leader. From our Granger cam on board Greg Biffle, that figure looming in the rear view is Joe Rutman.
Oops, pardon me. I wanted to draw a little bit.
Okay, you drew Setzer. He's the leader. He deserves a little bit of attention there.
Boy, does he. Coming off a broken shoulder 1 week ago.
But boy, Rutman is closing down on Biffle.
Well, I don't have to draw him now. He's big enough to see back there, and he is really coming on Biffle right now. We're going to have a race for second, I'll guarantee you on that.
And probably in about a lap or two. 7 laps to go. Setzer's advantage this time over Greg Biffle has grown to 2.1 seconds. Rutman is just 0.6 off of Biffle.
Yeah, in the meantime, Rutman also has picked up some on Setzer. He's still 2.78 seconds behind. He was 3.3 seconds behind, but he's got to deal with Biffle first. How much of a fight will that be?
That's the big question, Ned. Biffle's racing for the championship. Here comes Rutman, who is not up in the championship chase so much. He's 11th in points, but he wants to win this race. So how hard will Biffle fight him?
Well, I think he's going to try to battle him, but I really believe that Rutman has the superior truck, and there's not a lot they can do about it. They come off the corner there. Rutman on the outside down the back straightaway.
Lap trailer, Carlos Contreras inside. But can Rutman, with only 5 laps to go, make up the distance on Dennis Setzer, which right now stands at 3 seconds?
Yeah, Setzer picked up a little bit when Rutman had to make that pass on Biffle. Even though Biffle didn't fight Rutman, it still cost him a fraction of a second. And
Ned, what happened there was a truck there, a lap truck, Carlos Contreras, that was on the inside, and it really broke the momentum of second and third place trucks.
I don't think Ruttman, even as good a truck as he has the time to catch Dennis Setzer now with just 4 laps to go.
Ned, you spoiled the ending.
Well,
but I think you're right.
I just gave an opinion.
Well, I can tell you this.
Yep.
I've been around racing enough to know I've lost many of them with 2 or 3 laps to go, have problems with the truck or car that I was driving. And right now, Setzer's running a perfect line around the racetrack. If he don't make a mistake right now, it's his race.
Ralph?
Well, we just heard Greg Biffle radio into his crew and say, guys, I had to let him go. I just could not hold him on. Fred Wenke, on the other hand, radioed right back to his driver, Joe Ruttman, and said, come on, Joe, you can get him. I don't think so, but he's going to try.
Fred gets paid to think so. I don't blame him.
I got to always think positive.
Oh, I like that. I'll use it next week.
Well, he was still 2 and 9/10 seconds behind the last time around.
2 laps to go.
Yeah, it was just 2 laps to go.
Ned, good battle for 4th place. Steve Grissom's trying to hold off Jack Sprague as the leaders go through turn 1. And 3rd place, Greg Biffle. Good hard-fought battle for 4th place, and that would be Grissom and Sprague.
This is worth watching here. These guys don't send each other Christmas cards, I'll tell you. They've had a couple of run-ins this year already.
Yeah, this is 10th and 11th place, Mike Wallace and Andy Houston.
They're a lap down, really battling it out for that position. And they've battled for some positions before.
Yes, white flag is in the wind for Dennis Setzer. Look at shoulder and all. Here's that 4th place battle. Chad Sprague looks to the inside of Steve Grissom. Last chance in turn 1. Not there. Terry Cook tries him.
He did look to the inside again, though.
Terry Cook's part of that battle.
And here comes Setzer off turn 5 the last time. Checkered flag.
Dennis Setzer wins it. Here in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, there's Joe Ruttman coming around to take 2nd. Greg Biffle will be 3rd. Sprague pushes way up the racetrack, and Steve Grissom will hold on to 4th. With Sprague 5th, Terry Cook 6th, Jimmy Hensley, Rick Corelli, Brian Reffner, and Mike Wallace. For the first time in 24 races, Dennis Setzer will be driving into victory lane. After a hard crash in the opening laps 1 week ago in New Hampshire, Dennis Setzer has won it. We'll be back to speak with him after this. Dennis Setzer has won the Nazareth 200, just on a burnout that would make John Force proud, and now comes to victory lane to visit with Dick Bergeron.
And he was going to try to climb up on the top of the truck, but Dennis broke his shoulder and all. How did you win that race?
Well, it just speaks highly of this Team Mopar bunch. You know, Dodge put such a good vehicle under us. You know, all the way down from the engineers, all the way down. You know, I praise these people for what all they do for us. You know, Howard Comstock, Bob Keselowski, and all the Mopar team, just they made me look pretty good today.
We were listening to your radio late in the race, and Howard was trying to get you to stay out to lap 175, 180, and all of a sudden you came in. Why'd you do that?
Well, you know, Howard makes the calls. When he says come down pit road, I don't hesitate, don't ask. I think he's the best in the truck series on making calls, best on any series as far as that goes, but I don't want nobody to go scout him, take it away from me right now.
How's that shoulder?
It's pretty good right now, you know. This is pretty special to win the last race on CBS Sports. You know, we really appreciate you guys for what all you've done for the sport. You know, you're the best right there. Remember when you're the first one here, remember when you're the last one here.
Thank you, Dennis Setzer. Mike Joy.
Thanks, Dick, and thank you, Dennis. Tough day for us. Great day for Dennis Setzer, Joe Ruttman, Greg Biffle, Steve Grissom, the front 4. 3 Dodges and a Ford in the front 4 here.
Wow, it was exciting from the green flag to the checker, and Joe Ruttman has to just feel like, well, I had the truck, but I didn't do it right somewhere along the way, because it looked like his race to win, and Dennis Setzer drove a great race with a broken shoulder.
I think what made the difference was Ruttman pitted during that last caution for 2 other new tires. He just had made a green flag pit stop for 2 tires, and he just couldn't get back up through the traffic.
And Setzer stayed out and did not
exactly.
pit under that caution, and the gap was just too much for Ruttman to overcome. Point standings, leaving Nazareth, Pennsylvania, our 3rd mile track visit in as many weeks. Greg Biffle now leads Mike Wallace by 178. That's an increase over last week. Andy Houston, Jack Sprague, Kurt Busch, 5th, and Steve Grissom 6th in the standings. Randy Tolsma, who was the first truck out of today's race. Setzer's win moves him up to 8th. Then Rick Crawford, Brian Reffner, Joe Ruttman, and Jimmy Hensley. We'll have more from Nazareth, Pennsylvania in just a moment. It's been a long time, 22 years, since Ken Squire and the NASCAR folks convinced CBS to try live flag-to-flag coverage of the Daytona 500. For all of us involved, it's been quite a ride. And on this, our final NASCAR telecast, we thought we'd share with you some of the exciting moments of these past 2+ decades.
Where will Cale make his move? He comes to the inside. Donnie Allison throws the block. Cale hits him. He slides. Donnie Allison slides. They hit again. They drive into the turn. They're hitting the wall. They're head on the wall. They slide down to the inside. Let's watch those third-place cars. They're out of it. Here they come. Waltrip trying to slingshot. Petty is out in front. At the line. Waltrip to the inside. Petty wins it. And there's a fight between Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison. The tempers overflowing. They're angry. They know they have lost. And after all those years of effort, all those heartbreaks, the 1980 Daytona 500 waving like mad as he crosses the line. Buddy Baker has done it. Earnhardt in front, Bonnet coming back. Here comes Parsons from the inside. The last lap of the 12th annual Talladega 500. What a classic. $249,000 at stake. Here they come to the line. Neil Bonnet, the Alabama gang, is in front. Earnhardt pressing. He hits Cale Yarborough. They picked it up to the line. It will be Neil Bonnet. The Alabama gang pulls it off. Oh, trouble. Ricky Rudd slamming toward the wall. Crashing, rolling over, side over side. As the field comes out of turn number 4. Down they come. Waltrip still with a slim advantage. Now to the outside goes Labonte. As the flyover, Labonte is going for the lead. Bouchard comes up the inside. 3 cars side by side. Too close to call. But I believe that Ron Bouchard has won in a photo finish.
Cale, I know you're going to give the folks back home some good pictures.
Well, we're going to try, Ned. I hope it's all out the rear view. We're going to try to stay up front.
Good luck.
Here comes Waltrip to the inside. They're going down into turn number 3. It's just about equal. Waltrip is on the inside. Yarborough is on the outside, and he just gets through. Cale Yarborough is coming down, and he's going to do it. He has won the Michigan 400 in incredible style. Whoa, Waltrip and Yarborough getting into it at the end of the race. And Waltrip spins out.
You were not very pleased with what happened. What did happen out there, Darrell?
And we made a little contact, but no problem.
So it's over, and it's a second place.
No problem.
Car goes on the roof, bounces back on the wheels, and comes to rest down on the apron of the track.
Oh, Bubble in trouble is 07 LaJoy. Randy LaJoy slamming into the wall. Randy LaJoy out of Norwalk, Connecticut, destroyed his automobile.
Okay, a terrible crash. Richard Petty's car has turned over 7 or 8 times coming off turn 4.
They come to the stripe, and the winner of the 30th annual Great American Race, Bobby Allison. Davey Allison, his son, in second. Judy Allison ecstatic. What a tremendous family performance. Allison trying, Allison gets turned sideways by Sterling Marlin. He slams into them. 4-car wreck at the finish.
They're going to race to the line.
Meanwhile, they're going to race to the line to decide it here this afternoon. Here they come driving for the finish. This will go down as the all-time incredible finish at Talladega. On the outside, Wallace moving. Hillen stays first. Richmond drops on the inside in the 25 through the tri-oval. Here they come for the line. Hillen wins it.
Driver Darrell Waltrip, wife Stevie.
Oh, I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Darrell, how long?
Wait. This is the Daytona 500, isn't it?
You bet.
Don't tell me it isn't. Thank God.
Trouble behind Rusty Wallace is turning over.
Rusty Wallace, 20 feet in the air, spinning, crashing.
It's the Dale and Dale show as we come off of turn 4. You know who I'm pulling for. It's Dale Jarrett. Bring her to the inside, Dale. Don't let him get down there. He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500. Oh, look at Martha. Oh, dear. Oh, can you believe it? Way to go. Oh, man. Down on the inside. That's going to hit. Oh, he got trouble.
Terrible crash. Front of the field all torn up. Earnhardt's car destroyed.
20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. Finally. What a day for this great third-generation driver from Kannapolis, North Carolina. Checkered flag, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is Texas Motor Speedway's second first-time Winston Cup winner.
Well, you know, I've worked with some great teams, and I've been lucky enough to win with some, but none any greater than CBS. I'll miss you guys. We'll miss the broadcast and these guys right up here, too.
Ned, it's been a great ride.
It's been a great ride, Mike, and certainly a lot of great memories here on CBS that'll last forever.
For 22 years, we've strived to bring you quality coverage of NASCAR racing. It has been for us a great ride. Hope you've enjoyed it, too. For Ned Jarrett, Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Ralph Shaheen, and all of us at CBS Sports, I'm Mike Joy saying so long from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, where Dennis Setzer has won the Nazareth 200. Coming up next on CBS Sports Spectacular, the Quality Challenge.